Good afternoon, Bear Bull traders and YouTube. Hope everybody had a great day, stayed green. This is Mac, and I wanted to share a few trades with you today. I took a few. The first one here I want to show you is Netflix. It slammed down right at the open, as you can see here on the 5-minute chart, and started showing, some strength here at the bottom. And it came back up. I took long, but I got a horrible feel. One problem I have with Netflix is it does often have a pretty wide spread. But anyway, I was in it, and I was able to knock off a few partials, and it only made it up. It made it up to this. This was a 200 moving average on the 1-minute chart. I was really expecting, if you look over here on the 2-minute chart, VWAP was up here. This is what I was really expecting out of it. It just couldn't get there, so it made a lower high, started reversing on me, and so I closed out the position with these last shares here before I lost my break even on those. After that trade, I had Tesla. Now Tesla I traded a few times with mixed results. If you look here on the 5-minute chart down here, it really spiked up early and then slammed right back down, but it kind of double bottomed right there and started to look strong. It actually came back up through these moving averages, and then it could not make it back down to these lows. So I took it long here, but it failed. It could not make it back up through VWAP, and it came down and stopped me out. I did not get a partial on that one. But then it did shoot back up, then came back down, tested VWAP. It looked like it was going to hold it, so I took it long. And I got out of this trade real quick because I lost confidence in it, especially after my last stop out. L2 didn't look good. It just looked like it was going to fail on me, so I just went ahead and got out with a very small profit on that one. And then it did lose a little bit. I'll come over here to the 1-minute chart. On my last trade, it came back down, and it found support at the 200 moving average on the 1 minute. And it looked really strong, shot all the way back up through VWAP, came back down, tested VWAP, could not go below it, so I took it long, and I set my partials, and then I walked away, made a mistake, and I did not set my stop loss, and it went against me, and I did not even see this happening, and so I was actually well beyond where I would have normally stopped, especially after taking a partial. I normally would stop out right at my break even with the rest of the shares after I've taken a partial, but it was my mistake, but luckily it worked out for me. I came back around here close to this bottom, and I stuck with it because it made this candle here above the 200 moving average and then looked pretty strong coming off of it, and it did work out for me. I was watching the SPY too, kind of gauging the market. And so I got a few more partials before it slammed back down and stopped me out for the rest break even. But made a few dollars on Tesla. Then Abbott Labs. This was actually an earlier trade, and it slammed down hard at the open. I mean, the whole market really did. But it started showing some strength. You can see here on the 1 minute it was making higher lows, and then right about here I saw that it was struggling to make anything lower, but then I also saw that on the L2 the bids were just piled up, so the market started looking a little bit stronger, so I went ahead and jumped long and took partials all the way up to the top of this run, and then it started getting really weak. It lost VWAP, and I went ahead and jumped out. I did not even wait for it to get back to my break even, which if I had, I would have probably made a little bit more money because it never did make it there. But I was okay with it. I was on to some other trades. I went ahead, especially after this bar right here, it just looked really weak, and the L2 wasn't really helping me either. So I went ahead and dumped the rest of the shares there. So that was not a bad trade. But MU was my bread and butter today. This was actually the last trade I made before I had to leave my office for a while, and it was really following AMD up. AMD was super strong at this point in time, and this was actually MU was actually lagging AMD a little bit, but in fact it had started to pull back here away. When AMD just kept on trucking, and it just looked kind of weak here, but AMD just would not stop, and I think it just pulled MU right up with it, and it actually broke up into a red to green move. But I could just tell there was no L2 support. There were hardly any ask up above this 42.30, which was its high, but there were tons of bids, and it just looked like it was struggling. And then I saw that AMD started to drop, and I saw that NVIDIA was just tanking. So those two will draw MU down as well. And then I looked up and saw that the SPY was pretty weak, so I went short. And the funny thing is, this second short was an accident. I was working on setting my partials. I always like to set my partials in advance at certain levels or certain bids that I see. Well, I accidentally hit the wrong button and added to my short, which in this case worked out pretty well. I took some of it right off pretty quickly, but I got these partials all the way down, and I ran out of shares close to the bottom of this move, and I had to leave at that point. But I did come back late in the afternoon and made another trade on MU, and you see I missed all this move down right here. This was my first trade that I just showed you. I missed all of that move, but it made kind of like a double bottom here, as you can see on the 5. So people started trading it like that. It started moving back up, looking strong, but it just kind of fizzled out with the rest of the market, and it came back down. And some people would see this and think, oh, this is support right here. It's double bottom, now it's going to triple bottom and bounce off of it. And there were a few traders. In fact, if I slide back, let me see. It started to look like it might, if you look here on the 2-minute, might start to go back up. But in my opinion, there's rarely a such thing as a triple bottom. I always trade a triple bottom as a double bottom fail. By the third time you test that support, there is a really high probability that it's going to fail. I looked and I saw all the bids that were down there, and this is late in the day. This is after 3 o'clock. I saw all those bids, so I went ahead and took a short, and it worked out almost immediately. Started dropping. Really, the whole market started dropping too. That really helped me out. And I took partials all the way down, and it was really late in the day, about a quarter till close, and it shot back up. And I decided, I was done with it for the day. I'd way exceeded my goal, so I went ahead and took the rest of it off there and was done for the day. So all in all, it was a really good day. I hope everybody else had a good day. If you don't mind, sharing in the comments what type of trades you took today, and let me know how you did. I appreciate it, everybody. Have a great day.